Hi guys, this is my drill press and I have been showing you many times in my previous video how I use it to drill holes at precise position after making all the drill guides on the CNC machine. Today I wanted to explain a bit more in details about that process and how the drill press can save you a lot of time making parts, and also why you want to have a floating platform on your drill press. It is very easy to make some part like this from wooden stock or plastic stock using your CNC machine. All the holes here, you can machine them directly on your CNC machine using the pocket clearing tool path, but that tool path will take a lot of time to mill all the holes, and also most of the time they are undercut, so you still need to clean them up later using your drill bit. Other way, just you can use the drill tool path on your CNC machine and use the corresponding drill bit to drill the holes to size. But for some bigger hole like this, about 8mm diameter, just I only have the ER11 chalk on my 2018 CNC or my new CNC machine, so I cannot really hold the big bit and make the hole to size like this, so I still need to do pocket clearing. What I do is just I'm going to use the smaller bit and do the drill, so make the hole at the position, and then I make the hole bigger using this drill press. So let me just show you how it works on this. I don't use this piece anymore, so I can use it as an example to show you how it works. For example, you make this small hole on your CNC machine about 5mm diameter, but now you have to make it like bigger, 10mm diameter. So now you will use 10mm drill bit and drill through this hole to make it 10mm. For safety reason, you usually like clamp this piece down to the platform here using some C-clamp or some vise. But doing that, this piece not going to move, and if the tip of the bit here is not centered to the center of the hole, the new bigger hole not going to be at the precise position that you want it to be. Let me just show you an example. Now I have the center of the bit is inside the hole, but it's not exactly at the center of the hole, so let me just show you how it looks like. As you can see clearly here, the new bigger hole not going to be centered to the smaller hole. The solution is just going to leave this piece floating. You're not going to use the C-clamp, and you have to press it down with your hand like this. But be very careful with this. Don't touch the bit with your hand. And also you have to press just hard enough so it doesn't fly up to hit your face or something. But it can still like kind of move in the plane X and Y. So it can self-center itself into the bit. So let me just show you. Now I also have the tip of the bit is inside the hole, but it's not centered. So let me just show you how the drill look like. I hope that you can see the difference here. This one is when this piece was floating. The new bigger hole was perfectly centered to the smaller hole. This one is not. So the solution to let this piece floating will working very well. But this only work like when you have something soft to drill, like plywood or plastic. But for something harder like this small piece of aluminum, when I have to drill this big hole in the center here, it has a lot of vibration and it hurt my hands a lot. So before I wear this glove to hold this piece when drilling, it hurt my hand a bit less. But man, I got so many warnings from the viewers. It's so dangerous. Because if your gloves get caught into the bit, you're going to pull your finger inside and crush your finger. So I really thank the viewer for stopping me from using the gloves on the drill press or power saw. The solution to hold this piece is that you're going to use some vise like this. But if the vise is really heavy, it's not going to be able to like float around. So the hole here not going to be able to self-center itself to the tip of the bit. So the new hole not going to be at the place that you want it to be. Okay, so what I wanted to do is to design a platform for the drill press here. So the piece will be able to float around the X and Y axis very easily. But it also will be held very tight in the Z axis. So let me just show you how I'm going to make this platform. Here's my design for the floating platform. It has 3 layers. The first layer is the bottom plate here. It is to fix these 2 rails on it, and also have some space here to clamp it on the platform of the drill press. The second layer will be this plate to fix these 2 rails so the top platform can move in the other direction. And the top layer here is to put the piece that you need to drill on it. The overall dimension of this platform is a bit tall because the dimension of the rail here are a bit high. I use a SBR 16 or SBR 20. If you have more money to buy flatter rails, it wouldn't be ideal, but for me, though, wouldn't be fine. The length of the rail here are 200 millimeter, and I make the range of movement on each direction about 30 millimeter. I think that would be more than enough. All the plates here and the stoppers are very easy to mill with your CNC machine. The hardest part will be trim the rails to length to 200 millimeter, because I'm going to be using the set of two SBR 16 rails that I bought earlier to upgrade my 3018 CNC, but I don't use that machine anymore, so I'm going to try to cut each of them in half to have 4 rails at 200 millimeter length. So let me just show you quickly how I make all the pieces. Here's the set of SBR 16 rails that I need to trim. The length here is 400 millimeter. At the beginning I want to trim right in the middle here, so each piece will be like 200 millimeter length. But now I realize just in the middle of the rail here there's a bolt just to bolt this top rail to the aluminum base. So what I'm going to do is just I'm going to trim right next to the bolt here. So this piece will be a bit longer, but it have two bolts to bolt the rail down to the base, so it will be more sturdy. And this side it will be a bit shorter, but it only have one bolt, so it will be a bit less sturdy. But I hope that this bolt will still be enough to hold this rail down to the base. But if it doesn't, I will try to figure out some way to fix this end of the rail to the aluminum base. I used this saw with the abrasive blade to cut the similar type of rails before. It didn't go very well. It took a lot of time because the abrasive blade only cut well on steel. It didn't cut well the aluminum base because the aluminum will melt and stick to the blade, so it didn't cut well after that. What I'm going to do is just I'm going to separate the rails into two parts. The top part will be the steel bar, just going to be cut with this abrasive blade. The bottom part will be the aluminum base, just going to be cut with this teeth blade. First of all, I'm just going to mark the place where I need to cut. Okay, so I just mark this line, just go all the way from the aluminum base to the bar. So I will cut them roughly at the same place. Next step, I just going to use the hex wrench to unbolt the bolts and separate the bars. Now I have those steel bar cut. I'm just going to change the blade and cut the aluminum base. Well, cutting the base was just like butter. Now I'm just going to clean up the end of those steel bars with some sandpaper and then put everything back together. I put all the pieces of rail back together, but now I want to reinforce the pieces. I only have one bolt on it. So what I want to do is just I want to drill some holes here in the middle so I can have some wire to wrap around the bar and tighten it to the base. That way it doesn't affect the moving range of the linear bearing block on this side, but I still have something to reinforce the bar to the base. So I drew it about in the middle of the bar and right at the corner here. I'm just going to do the same on this side. I'm just going to use this piece of steel wire, go around the two holes, wrap around the bar and tighten it. It doesn't look really fancy here, but it is a lot more sturdy and I feel a lot safer this way. As you can see that I only use the 3mm flat end mill bit to make all the pieces here, and I use the drill 2 pass to make all the holes at the position that I needed. So now I have to drill them to size using the corresponding drill bit. Next step, I just going to take 2 rails and slide the linear bearings block on them. And then I just going to fix the top plate on the linear bearing block. Next step, I just have to fix those two rails on the middle plate. But as you can see here, the rails that I have here are not standard. So the hose position here also are not standard. And on this one, I only have two holes. So I will have to drill two extra holes here to fix them on the platform. But to do that more accurately, I'm just going to fix the rails on here using the two holes here. And then drill two extra holes using this plate as the drill guide. After making sure that this plate moves freely, you can tighten the ball here so the rails won't move. Okay, so now you can just flip this over like this. And just use those holes here as drill guide and drill all the way through. Now the hole are drilled, you can just fix the rail to the plate using small bolts and nuts. Now I'm just going to try to do the same with the bottom plate. I just got to install some stopper on here so the linear bearing block doesn't slide out of the rail when I flip them over. Before drilling the hole through the rail, I'm just going to install the stopper first so it doesn't slide all the way out. Now I have the top plate installed back on. I'm just going to flip it over and drill the hole. Now to finish, I'm just going to install the last 4 bolts and this platform will be ready. So now this platform is ready, and you can see that you can move around the X and Y axis very easily. So I'm just going to clamp this platform to the drill press platform. To test this platform, I'm just going to use this piece of aluminum, and I'm just going to try to chamfer one of the holes here with this 10mm drill bit. That's what I have been struggling with before. As you can see here, I clamp this piece down with the C-clamp so I don't need to hold it with my hand anymore. Now just roughly put the tip of the bit inside the hole. I don't know if you can see it clearly with the angle of the camera, but the big hole is perfectly centered to the small hole, and the piece was held tight to the platform, so I didn't need to worry about the safety anymore. Just a few words about the building of this platform. My advice is you should buy some standard rails so you don't need to cut them, and also the rail will be very sturdy and the other holes on the rails will be at the standard position and dimension, so that you don't need to do a lot of drilling and modifying the rails. So all the holes on the design just I shared will be at the standard dimensions. This is only my idea about the design of this platform. You can modify it any way you want, as long as it can still floating in the X and Y axis and very sturdy in the Z axis. I just retest it with another hole, and again it works perfectly.